Well, hello everybody. We are starting our Lode AMA. It's been by invitation through our channels. Happy to see everybody here. I think more people is going to be joining. We see about 35 participants right now. We have a very nice room with panelists from Lode. We have Ian Toes right here on my left side. Ian, good morning. How are you? We have Martin Lamb also from the UK. Martin, good morning.
Good morning, good afternoon. Hi, everybody.
Corporate finance. And then we have Tom Halap as also Vice President of Business Development for Lode. Tom, good morning. How are you doing?
Doing well.
Great. Good to have you. And Michelle is a Lode Tech a person or a representative. Michelle, good morning. How are you?
Hello, everyone.
And Cash as well in the tech side of things in GSD. So Cash, good morning, man.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to everybody around. And James is around too. James, how are you doing? He's joining the community management team for Lode. James, good morning.
Good morning. Greetings, everybody. Look forward to getting some questions across to you guys today.
Perfect. So what we have, just I want to give you a couple of the ground rules. Just keep your comments and your questions respectful and productive and positive, and we're going to get through this. We have allocated 40 minutes for a presentation and Q&A, and we're going to have also a presentation with a slide deck that we have, and at the end, we're going to have some Q&A. Let's start with Ian. Ian, would you like to kick us off?
Sure. Thank you, Humberto, and welcome, everyone. It's a pleasure to meet you all. I'm calling in from overseas today, where I've been working with the team in Europe. And I can tell you that, the world has certainly changed while I've been here, and in a very significant way, but it's compelling many that are starting to wake up to the reality that, storing value in silver and gold is definitely a good idea. And putting it to work in a system like Lode makes a lot of sense in times like this when fiat currencies are failing all over the world and inflation is out of control, and who can trust the banks? Even the American banks are having trouble. So the conversations are getting very interesting. I'm pleased to be able to report in to all of you today, and I look forward to your questions. Humberto, I'm not sure how you want to follow the format. Are you going to be presenting the pitch deck? Or some materials, and do you need my help, or are we going to just work with the others on the team for that?
Yes, well, we do have Michelle. Michelle, you can give access to Ian or Martin to bring up the pitch deck, correct?
You betcha.
Yeah. Like Ian or Martin, if you guys have the pitch deck with you, then you can hand it. If not, I can bring it up.
We have version 12, which just came in today.
Oh, perfect. Well, let's get with that one.
Where do we
All right,
send
Ian,
that?
you should be able to share your screen now.
Okay, good. Let me see if I've got it open here. Give me a second, please. All right, this is the presentation deck. We call this the VC deck because we've been presenting it to venture capital companies here in Europe, and it's been going over really well. The topic of digital silver and rules-based private monetary systems is the topic of the day. And so the Lode organization is comprised of 4 significant corporate hubs. First one is Lode Switzerland, which handles all the administration. Lode GmbH is where we mint and vault under tight agent buff and regulation in Europe. And Lode Labs is our tech and innovation hub. And Lode Metals is where we're going to be performing the mining operations for the physical production of silver and gold for the project. Many of you that have been in the community for years have known that the mandate has been the mandate of the community is to restore silver and gold to the monetary system and construct honest money system for those people that are seeking sound inflation-resistant forms of money. The community at large was comprised initially of silver stackers, but has migrated onto those that are enthusiastic about the digital assets and the creation of silver and gold as money and restoring it to the monetary system. The technology today is largely Web3 and fully blockchain enabled, and accessible to any Web3 wallet infrastructure. Initially, the project raised about $9 million worth of seed in 2017, 2018, and those funds were utilized to construct most of the technology right up until the token minting happened in 2019. There's currently around 14,000 users in the system, and to date, about $23 million of the resources has been utilized to construct the system. Today, the project has 3 brands that we're working with. Lode is the monetary system and the community at large. Bullpen is a rebrand of what we used to call the bullion engine, which is the minting and vaulting operations. And LodePay is being renamed as Genuine. So these are the brands that we're going forward with. And so you could say that the money revolution has begun. And by 2030, many analysts have indicated that they believe the size of the blockchain industry and the technology at large will grow about 25 times from where it is today. This is because billions of people worldwide are living with hyperinflation, and they're looking for a way to exit their government-issued inflationary and currencies, which devalue their ability to store wealth, and they're looking for independent, private, rules-based monetary systems. The next generation of rules-based monetary systems is being developed, and Lode is at the forefront of that, using Web3 technology and programmable money, which empowers merchants and consumers to store value in precious metals and send and spend globally and make them swappable with other currencies and cryptocurrencies. So you're all familiar with the Lode token. We pitched this to the prospective investors and venture capital firms that we're in discussions with. Those companies are looking to now make a move into digital assets like never before, and because they see the crisis that's occurring in the banking system. And so the opportunity and the time for an honest, rules-based, sound monetary system is now. And the Lode token holders, of course, are those that benefit the most from the operations of the Lode system. As you know, AGX and AUX coins are the core products that the Lode project produces, and they are minted under a regulated, BaFin regulated tied agent license cover in Germany, and they each represent the underlying assets that they're created from. The Lode wallet, just a few stats here. This new Web3 wallet is currently about 4,000 users currently. Total of about 11 million AGX, AUX coins in circulation, and we have users from 73 countries. About 71% of that are mostly North Americans. Next generation crypto acceptance is in the works, and we have APIs that are under construction, will be ready in the next couple of quarters, that would enable ATM networks, merchant terminals, and payment processors and merchants to accept digital AGX and AUX coins. And the idea here is that any Web3 enabled wallet will be able to run AGX and AUX coins in the future. So it's not just the Genuine or the LodePay app that's going to be able to do this. And this is one of the core initiatives that's underway in the next couple of quarters. As you know, many of you have anticipated the launch of the Lode Visa debit card. Well, we call it Forged from the Earth. It's one of our new slogans. And be happy to let you all know that the development of that technology and the platform is well underway. And we believe that in this coming weeks, you'll be able to explore the beta version of the card. We've had some significant challenges to overcome with respects to this, the way that this card operates, because it's entirely operates on AGX and AUX coins. And there's a lot of back technology that happens in the background in order to make that happen. We call it zero balance technology, and we'll tell you more all about that in the future. Bullpen is a inventory control system. It's meant to connect to Chainlink and proof of reserves. It's the first step in automating the vaults and making it possible for traders and investors globally to buy directly from the vault and bypass the COMEX and other trading houses and bullion dealers and buy direct and save on fees and premiums. Bullpen is a real innovation. We've been working with the lawyers in New York. They have told us that if we could get this thing launched, it's an absolute game changer for the ETF and the commodities industry. We understand what it is legally, and it'll be ready to launch later this year. So, one of the things that we believe is that none of these investors will need to go to the COMEX when they can go directly to the mining companies through the Bullpen. And so miners and refiners are now going to be able to put their material into the Lode inventory system, have it tokenized, and if they want to, they would be able to enable the creation of AGX and AOX coins for people around the world to be able to engage around digital silver and digital gold. So first step in creating AGX and AOX coins is a stop-off point at the Bullpen, and then the Bullpen tokens are enabled to create the AGX and AOX coins. So you could say it's basically a warehouse distribution or clearinghouse for the Lode system, and it's going to be connected to the vaults and proof of reserves. So we'll tell you a little bit more about that. We've announced it early because we wanted to claim the real estate in this area and to be the world's first NFT powered bullion marketplace. Sorry, SST token is in operation, and we're happy to tell you all that we have the first 150 tons of material organized to go to the processor, and we're just working out the final kinks in that, and then the SST token operation will be fully engaged and underway. Copper powder is another project that we have under contract. It's a $1.78 billion resource. It'll be tokenized into the Bullpen, and Lode expects to be able to earn about a 4% fee for selling that product, which is about $72 million worth of revenue. And there'll be more announcements about that to come. We're just awaiting final access to the vaults. And then we've got some significant traction under us. And in the previous presentation, this is where I handed off the presentation to Martin to jump in and tell you a few things. Martin, if you'd just like to give me the cues, and I'll advance the slides for you.
Sure. I mean, obviously, the banking situation and precious metals being talked about, and the instability in the traditional crypto centralized exchanges at the end of last year helped our story. So traction's being achieved. Sorry, is the sound okay? Could you go on?
Science found.
You're fine, Martin.
Yeah, I think it was getting feedback, Tom. Thanks. If you can go on mute, thanks. Traction's been achieved. People, traditional asset managers that we're talking to in Europe understand that there's a need to have a portfolio holding in digital silver and gold. So that gives us a tremendous, but if people want to deal with you, they want to see you, they understand this, it makes things a lot easier. So we've had 2 meetings today, which have been very successful. There was several meetings yesterday. These were follow-up meetings in London with asset managers, regulated entities that understand the need to hold digital silver and gold. So that's it's been useful for us with the turmoil in banks such as Credit Suisse. When you have that type of bank, and also the talk of Deutsche Bank as well. So it's moved our cause along. People we spoke to a couple of years ago, 18 months ago, we're getting calls back from those individuals, and just helps the whole. It eases us back in the door with people, and they see from conversations we've had, they thought we were a little bit radical, and this is not going to be the case. But we knew what was going to happen, and I think the worst is not over on that. So yeah, if you can move it on, Ian, thanks. So I did notice a question flash by of the importance of a no action letter. Bahrain is a small population, but it is a representation, so a front window, a front store for Saudi Arabia, which is obviously a much larger market. Bahrain is around 3 million people, but STC, Saudi Telecom, owns 90% of the Bahrain Telecom, and this has over 100 million users in the MENA region. So what that allows us to do is telecoms have a great on-ramp, taking traditional local fiat currencies and on-ramping them via the telecom platform, where people would purchase airtime and data time. 80% of people in the world don't have a contract for a telecom. So they pay by the day, by the hour, by the week. And this allows them to on-ramp value in fiat. And some of that currency now can go towards their data program for the internet, but they can also transfer it to silver and gold. So telecoms are a great distribution method for us. Now, in the early days, this allows a family office and wealth funds to put money into the Lode system, because they know that we have the no action letter and it's regulated. So that's where we can move on from there. Next slide, Ian, please. Nigeria, super interesting country for us, very young country, 70% of people under 30. We have a signed binding contract, LOI, with the Mainbridge Group, but we have also been talking to several other groups in Nigeria with very large capabilities of distribution. One group has 25 million users, and this group is not an adoption. It would be a complete use case for their 25 million members in a collective, a cooperative. Can't really go into much detail on this one, but we had a very successful meeting on that earlier today in London. And obviously they're having issues with local NIA, the currency, and there's FX issues and devaluation of the currency. So exciting stuff in Nigeria. Like I say, 70% of the population has grown up with a smartphone and the internet. And that is how they do transactions. They don't have banks in the traditional sense. This is a recap of the Lode metals. We still have it as mining here, but we're going with the Lode metals term. This covers the bullpen in some more detail. The next slide, Ian. This is the app and the wallet. The Lode API is getting a lot of traction in digital management circles, because we've got expressed interest for other Web3 wallets to carry our digital silver and digital gold. Now, this is super important because we can use our product can go on other wallets, other Web3 wallets. So we've got people, because we've got vertical integration, and this goes back to a question that came up when we were talking to David Morgan. It may appear that we're changing and going into different areas, and they're all part of one vertical integration. So we're taking it from mined product all the way to digital value that can be used in a wallet. Now, this is very appealing to other Web3 wallet providers, that they can have our assets. So we don't have to have to secure value back to the Lode token. It not necessarily has to be used through through our wallet, it can go onto other people's wallets. So that is why the importance of what we're doing with the Lode Metals side of the business as well. The next slide, Ian. This is an area that we've been putting forward because obviously when we're in front of people, we want to make a call to action. So we have this call to action was for a digital asset manager here, and we put it down to a custodial wallet, and we show that 77% goes to gold and silver, into the NFT, tokenized real property, the bullpen. Their redemption, well, the redemption can be, they have their choice, the physical into the Lode token if it's appealing to them in the market, or they can take the digital. So they got a choice of repayment, and then infrastructure building is the what they want to see. They want to see us putting value back into the infrastructure, and so we put that at 23%. And this has been appealing. We've got callbacks, several callbacks on this. So we're hoping to have that announcement coming here in the next several weeks that we've partnered up and we're doing an investment with an asset manager. This is the team. Obviously, we made some changes. We brought in some people with more experience in the digital space. Dan Wasalak, CEO from Blockchain Foundry, a publicly listed company. We have Cash. We have Bruce that you're aware of, Sandra and Ian, and obviously myself. Next slide. This is our hero page. These are the people that make up the system. These are our service providers. So obviously top-notch AAA people in various disciplines, legal, accounting, blockchain, and vaulting partners that keep the system compliant and legal and running smoothly. Next slide, Ian. Now, Ian, you may want to jump in here. These are projected numbers that we've put together. Obviously, there's going to be some questions on this, but this is, we feel, very conservative total users, total wallets. See, the total users we've got here is under 1 million. Now, as I say, we've got signed agreements with multi-million user groups in Nigeria, and the Bahrainian opens up to multi-million. So we're being very conservative on a growth level here. Now, the 5-year company value, that is 147. Now, that is what ETH, Ethereum, trades at on revenue. And we can take Ethereum's trading level there at 147, or we can go 20. And as you see, this is where it puts the Lode token value at. So these are numbers, and this is a slide that VCs want to see, and this is a slide that we've been using for the 2 asset management groups that we've been working with, and we have 4 others to go to as well on the recommendation. So
this is the highlights from the mega model, which is 19 tabs long and is comprised of 9 significant revenue engines, and is based on reasonable expectations that we believe that the team can achieve, and the values you can choose which range you believe the Lode system should sit in based on Ethereum's gross quarterly revenue. They currently trade at about 147 to 151 times their revenue. And, remember, this is a down market. So at 19 plus $100 per token, this is a pretty nice return, $884 Lode token based on similar appreciation. But we felt that it would be reasonable to, use something that's more common in the stock market, which is 20x times your revenue or 20 times your profit, and still a nice result, 2.2 $2.9 billion market.
But bearing in mind, if we go the 20x, we are still only calculating this on the 970 total users. So we have great hopes that it would be significantly more than that over the coming months. We see the build up to that with contracts signed and announcements, because the interest level is 10 times the interest level now as it was last year in March, and it's only building. The people we're adding in various areas, especially in the Lode metals, has really attracted some significant interest from the traditional TradFi industry sector. Sorry.
I just wanted to add on getting a bit of feedback there. I just wanted to add on the Lode token price that we were looking at before. Sorry, Martin, if you mind going back to that slide, or I think it was Ian. Yeah. So the 5-year 20x profit valuation of $37.15. For some of our more DeFi and crypto verse guys on the call here, something that myself and Dan and the rest of the team are working on is actually trying to get us to that mark earlier. And we believe we can do this through our decentralized exchanges and directing our liquidity purchases through our DEXs. Because currently, so there's purchases that aren't going through the DEXs, which need to be. And that adds to this. So, just wanted to touch on that. Yeah.
I think that's it for the slide. Umberto, what type of format do you want to go? You want to pull up some questions or a question? I'd see questions are being answered. I think you're on mute.
Yeah, James is going to go in now, guys, and he's going to moderate the Q&A and drive them according to priority.
Okay,
Awesome.
great.
Let's get to some questions. So I'll ask these to the panel, and I'll let the panel decide who will field them. I mean, I know one of them is probably a little bit more technical, but I'll let you guys decide. First question, this came from the chat here in Zoom. Has Lode identified any other jurisdictions similar to Bahrain that require no action letter where Lode is planning to expand to? Any other jurisdictions?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'll take that. We lead off with where we have jurisdictional compliance, and obviously that involves Switzerland, that involves Lode GmbH in Germany via the BaFin, via the ECB, which is the main driving force for the entire EU. There is some legal changes coming forward to have a more consistent level playing field for that. Now, when we're going outside of, and the US obviously is they're all about enforcement, but there is no actual blockchain act, so they just let you play and then they'll enforce regulation on you. So that's a little bit more difficult in the US. Now, when we're looking at other jurisdictions, we want to go with somebody who is regulated and that can distribute us. Natural candidates for that are telecoms, because they are highly regulated in all jurisdictions to have a telecom license to provide cellular and data services. So they're highly regulated and they can give us a regulatory umbrella. In Bahrain, it was a little different. We went to the telecom and they said, we'd like to see if you can get an opinion from the central bank. So we got that opinion and we got the no action letter. So we want to work closely with a distribution partner. And what that means is they can do an investment into Lode, into the Lode token, but they also have the ability to press a button and distribute a wallet and a recommendation to use said wallet to millions of people within seconds. That's a telecom. So Tom Halapatz has done extensive work on multiple telecoms in multiple jurisdictions. So for us to go alone to the regulator or to the central bank or however their regulatory structure works, that's really not necessary, because we're going to have an existing regulated partner. So hopefully that answers that question.
Thanks for that, Martin. Jumping to another question that came up in chat here in Zoom. I believe this is more on the technical side. Why are USD values listed in the vault at 25% over the corresponding spot price for AGX? So I guess there's a bit of misalignment between the price of AGX and the total USD value that's listed in the vault.
Cash, I see you put a response in there.
Yeah.
Just wanted to add to that. So if you go to our DEX, that is AGX is trading exactly at the price of silver per gram right now. So you can go to Trader Joe and buy silver for the price per gram that it's trading for right now, and it is exactly on spot price of silver. There's no fee that goes on top. So it trades at I think it was how much is it? 0.75 cents.
75.
And that's what AGX 75 cents. That's what AGX is trading at currently on Trader Joe. So you just need USDC, and you can purchase grams of silver for its trading price.
Awesome.
Yep.
Okay. Let's jump to one more here. And this came from our Telegram channel earlier this week. I got burnt to fried by FTX, which many believe to be the safest exchange at the time. Questionable, but please tell me how I could trust Lode and what safeguards Lode has in place. So pretty general question about safeguards that are in place.
Sorry, could you repeat that, James?
Sure. I got burnt or fried by FTX, and many believed that was the safest exchange at the time. Tell me how I could trust Lode and what safeguards Lode has in place.
Good question. So to answer that, everything that we do is on chain. All of our assets are tracked and traced on the Avalanche network, which I will post the network scanner for that in our Lode Telegram. But everything is on chain. And currently, another thing that we're working on, just to make sure all of our clients and users can verify their assets, is we're setting up our proof of reserves system. So shortly, the Lode users will be able to go to our Lode DApp. There will be a new Lode DApp, decentralized application that our users can go to and verify their assets on our DApp. So that will include even seeing an image of the gold that's been verified by third parties and put on chain. So everything is traceable on chain. I hope that kind of answers the question. If there's something that I've missed,
I think it might be important to add that the wallet is non-custodial, largely non-custodial. So you have your own keys, so you can trust yourself with your keys, and that's an important distinction between FTX. I myself had tokens burned got burnt by FTX, and so I know how it feels, but they were in control of my keys. I wasn't, so my bad.
To add to that, in the context of non-custodial, for those who are not aware of exactly how non-custodial works, you got to look at the existing financial system. And if you have an account at a traditional bank, they have custody of your assets. You just get to use your money that's stored in that bank. So with us, you have control over your asset. It's private, secure, confidential. And once that coin is minted, it's really tokenized real property that you own that we can't access.
Yeah, I just to reiterate that, thanks, Tom. I mean, the FTX aspect, this has come up with people we speak to, and just to be clear, the technology, the blockchain didn't let anybody down. It didn't fail. It was just sheer good old-fashioned fraud. Send money to this bank account, this company in Bahamas, and we'll take care of the rest. And they didn't. they misappropriated the funds. That's one aspect of with FTX that has to be bore in mind, because the media, or certain media, took a stance that it was the blockchain decentralized ledger, the crypto, that had actually done something, but it was really just about sending traditional fiat to a bank account and it being misappropriated. I just want to add that to James.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And two other things that come to mind. Smart contracts received a CertEC audit, which is, I guess, the gold standard in terms of smart contract audits and certificates. I don't know if you need to touch on that, but perhaps a note about the vaulting and auditing of vault holdings might be worth a mention.
Yeah, the smart contracts were audited by CertEC, all 5 of them, which deal with the AUX, AGX, Lode, and both from the NFT side as well as the minting side. And we did pass with flying colors from CertEC.
Yep, and I know the results of that audit are publicly available. Can we touch on vault audits?
I'm not sure who is the best one. Ian Martin, possibly.
Yeah, we put this forward last week, and I haven't been on the website today. I've been in meetings, but I thought we were imminent to have that vaulting report placed on Lode.1 in the members area.
Mm-hmm. And maybe just in general how that report works.
Well, I think Cash, the technology, Cash, could you step in there again and explain the chain link and how this would work? Because this is an important component. It's come up again today in a meeting with the Nigerian group, because the gentleman we're dealing with, and it's a 25 million person group. This is a great concern, because he said they will be a group that will literally burn down the office in Lagos if they cannot confirm the holdings in the vaults. So that technology is being pushed forward. So, Cash, could you reiterate how that would work in real time?
I can absolutely. So, good timing. I've recently spoken today with the Vault Master, Lode Vault Master. Every single token will be verified shortly through either Chainlink or Gram Chain. And I'm going to post the link to Gram Chain now in our chat so you guys can see an example of how this is going to look once it's ready. So I'm going to post the link here now. And if you check out Gram Chain, you will see the actual photos and proofs of the gold that are backing the tokens. So we're in the process of setting this up now. I'm expecting to be able to verify every token within the next 2 to 3 months for Lode. So I've just posted the Gram Chain Explorer in the chat here. If you guys want to have a look at that, you'll see an example of what we will be able to do shortly.
Awesome. Thanks for that. We're just running up on the 45-minute mark here, but I have 2 more questions that I'd love to throw to you guys. So this one also came from our Telegram group. Perhaps it's technical, but in regards to the cancellation of vetting earlier this year, the crypto market as a whole is showing some signs of weakness along with other markets, but the precious metals market is holding ground and gaining strength. What will be the main consideration to resume the vetting program in the near future? So maybe a word on the vetting program, which, if you can.
I think that question is the vesting period, maybe, James. I would imagine that's the question.
I think,
yeah.
Okay.
I think it is with the vesting of the Lode payouts. I do have an answer for that as well. So
Awesome.
Yeah, so it's good that that question is being asked as well, because what we're planning to do with the Lode token has been due for a very important update for a while now. So basically, I'm not sure if everybody here is familiar with how the GSD token works, but the GSD token has its payouts daily. So the GSD token is all decentralized and works automatically. It automatically pays out interest and earnings on a daily basis. This is what we're about to do to the Lode token. So the Lode token will be upgraded in terms of smart contract to do the payouts on its own more frequently. So the 52 day period will be getting rid of that soon. The 52 day period will be gone soon, and it will be upgraded to a daily payout system.
That's awesome.
Okay, I think
thanks.
just to clarify here, though, I think they're talking about the vesting period and the release of Lode tokens into the market, which we planned. Obviously, that is delayed, as everybody knows, because of the state of the collapse of several crypto-related businesses, Celsius, Terra Luna, and then ultimately culminating in the collapse of FTX. So we cannot have Lode tokens in mass put into the market when we have multiple multi-million-dollar LOI signed at a certain investment level to come into the Lode token, because I'm going to be sitting in an office in Lagos or in London or in Bahrain, and they're going to point to that market, even though that is not a representation of the value of Lode. In a pure capitalist sense, people would say, well, that is the market price, but it's being driven down because we have people pent up, and rightfully so, people who want to sell into the market because they've been invested in this. So we need to get the ship stable, and we need to have a realistic price of the Lode token before we open up that period of vesting and release Lode tokens into the market from the community. It's only for the good of the community, and it's only for the good of the Lode token price. So when we do that, we want to see it, we want people selling into a rising market. We don't want price suppression and affect contracts that we've already signed. So that's an answer to that.
We do have a strategy for the migration of those Lode tokens. It is important for everybody to understand that if we did a mass migrate of these Lode tokens, the value of these tokens would basically plummet to zero, because you have to back these tokens to migrate in a decentralized environment. So it's a very tricky operation to migrate over, because we will need to make sure that they're backed on the decentralized exchanges that they're also available on. So there will be a release schedule coming out for this, and we will definitely update everybody on this, because it's something that has to happen this year.
Last but not least, and this might be a great way to end off the AMA. And this question came from Telegram again earlier this week. I opened my Lode account 2 to 3 years ago and haven't done much with it since. How can Lode serve me? But also, how can I add to it, as banks and the whole financial system are too risky now? So how can I add to that? Maybe we want to go over a few ways that people can add to their Lode account and buy AGX, AUX.
This is a perfect question for Mr. Tom Halipat. Tom, can you run through that scenario?
Yeah, I'm here. I was just turning on my camera. So how can you add? It's pretty easy. We accept 3 forms of payment for the purchase of AUX and AGX coin. We have direct deposit. You can mail in a check. You can wire the funds in, or we accept crypto as well. Really how it works is quite simple. You would give me a call, reach out to me by my email at tomh@lode.one. I just really want to understand the amount of coin that you would want to purchase. We send you an invoice for the exact amount, and you send us the funds, and within 48 hours, the coin is deposited into your wallet. So a very fluid process, easy to work with, and fluid. And what really, if I may speak, I've had a lot of interest in people adding to their account over the last few weeks with banking challenges in the United States. People are looking for security and protection and peace of mind. And just to sum it up, the analogy I use is if you look at you have an account at a traditional bank, and you have $10,000 in that account, that money in that account is backed by fiat, paper, printed, in many ways, worthless paper that is becoming worth less and less each day. With our system, you open up your account every day and you're going to see $10,000 in there as well. But the big difference is that 10,000 is 100% backed by precious metals. There's no margin, there's no leverage, there's no derivative, there's no paper contract. Each AUX and AGX coin are digital pickup slips for the underlying asset. We don't, and here's a key point, we don't mint the coin and buy the gold. We buy the gold and mint the coin. So your asset is always 100% asset backed. Is there a follow-up question to that? Or are we good?
Oh, that was great. I think at this point, I'll turn it back to Humberto or Martin, and we can maybe, if there's any final comments, then we can wrap up this AMA.
Thank you, James. Great job on the moderation. And I just say a few words. Thanks very much for turning up. But let's not. We're not going to do this irregular. We're going to get this done on a more bi-weekly basis. We may not be sitting in a nice chair at a desk in the future. We may be in a vehicle. We may be on a train. Maybe on the back of a horse. We may be at a mine site in Chihuahua, Mexico. We don't know. But we want to keep this up regularly. Ian and I were discussing it earlier with the rest of the team, and that's what we want to do. So that's enough from me. But thanks very much. I'll turn it to Humberto or Ian. Thank you.
And I just want to add also, guys, that if we, for whatever reason, we don't get to answer all the questions that you might have had prepared for us, then you can always reach out to us on support.lode.one. You can also reach out to us in the channels, private messaging, and we are always willing, open, and help and open for answering all your questions you have.
Just one more thing. I just saw a question come up. Can you buy by credit card? Cash, not to answer it here, but put something together, because you ran through a methodology to buy by credit card, and that is possible. So we just look out for that in one of the distribution channels from James Robinson. Sorry. Thank you.
Yeah, we're putting together a little thing of the 5 ways you can buy our assets, and make sure that's all documented into the community so people know their options.
Okay. Ian, do you have some closing questions as closing remarks for us?
Not really, other than to thank the community for their support today. It was nice to see 57. I think we topped up at about 59 joining today. We hope to get 300, 400, 500 on these calls in the future. And I hope that we're going to be able to set up a new platform. We're looking at locals as a way to bring in larger community and to do broadcasting. To Martin's point, we never know where we're going to be these days. The game is certainly with the disruption in the overall global banking ecosystem and the fractional reserve banking system, and the fact that the bond market is upside down. People are moving large sums of money out of the banks, and if they can get out of the bank, they should consider putting it in with gold and silver, and certainly has stood the test of time, hasn't it? And when we lay over the chart for gold and silver in 50 years against all the leading fiat currencies out there, it certainly tells a good story, tells it all. So anyway, we look forward to doing this again in a couple of weeks. And if we didn't get your questions answered, we certainly will be happy to do that on the next one. And please tell some friends to come along and join us here at Lode. We certainly have the future in our hands, and we're very, very excited about what the community has built. And this is the year to get into to sales and to and put it out into full distribution. So thank you.
Okay. Thank you, guys. It's 11 o'clock sharp, so we had to make a hard stop. So thank you very much for attending to this AMA, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Great. Thank you,
Awesome.
guys. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Take care, guys.
Goodbye.